Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Today we're talking about another company getting boycotted over its political affiliations. And this time it's a bit more overt and deserving if you ask me. Last video we talked about the failed boycott of In-N-Out Burger, staged by a few knuckleheaded Democrats because In-N-Out quietly made a donation to the Republican Party in California. And as I said before, this was uncalled for, poorly thought out, and it also failed miserably. And now, a few days later, on the other side of the aisle, we've got a large number of right-leaning, America-loving citizens protesting Nike, the sports clothing and shoe company who just made the stupid decision to hire Colin Kaepernick, the failed football player, as their new spokesman. And he's set to be the face of their latest Just Do It campaign. Just do it, more like just don't, if you ask me. And this is an obvious attempt by Nike to go woke. And of course, as we've seen time and time again, they're also quickly discovering that the next step in that equation is going broke, unfortunately. You see, Nike stock has dropped tremendously since this announcement just a few days ago. Some estimates say the company has lost up to $4 billion in value. Wow, that's big. That's huge. Huge even. And I think Nike deserves it too. I'm going to go over why in today's video. We're going to talk about Nike, their new ad, and all the memes and protesters complain about it. But first, let's do a quick recap of Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick is a 30-year-old washed-up quarterback who couldn't cut it in the NFL. Sure, he was the starter for the San Francisco 49ers in 2013, which was his 1 year of possibly proving himself, but in the end, it ended up in shambles as his team lost the NFC Championship. Over the next 3 seasons, Cap was on and off the bench, mostly playing backup, effectively sidelined so the Niners could start other, actually good quarterbacks. And this is where the real problems started for the guy. Self-inflicted problems. You see, Colin was none too happy with riding the bench, so he decided he needed to get attention another way. That's when Colin started kneeling for the national anthem. In 2016, Kaepernick became a national figure when he ignited a firestorm controversy by choosing to kneel on one knee rather than stand while the United States national anthem was being played before the start of NFL games. He described his behavior as a protest against racial injustice in the United States, which is pretty ironic because if America was so unjust and racist, why the hell are we paying black footballers like him and many others millions of dollars a year? The NFL is also overwhelmingly black, much like the NBA, so I don't get what this racial injustice Kaepernick is kneeling about is. To me, it's pretty obvious he just wants attention. He wants to virtue signal. Colin is a failed quarterback who was riding the bench, so this showboating bullshit protest is just a way for him to get some relevance again, plain and simple. And this supposed wokeness coming from Kaepernick is even more ridiculous when you realize what his background is. This dude isn't some real black guy from the streets who faced racism and hardship his entire life. Hell no. Colin is a half black, and the mixed ones are always the ones overcompensating too, as you can see. And also, Kaepernick was raised by an affluent white family in Wisconsin. So basically, I'm pretty much blacker than this guy is. Colin never struggled a day in his life, and to make things even funnier, he never really dressed or acted black until he started pulling this kneeling crap. Before that, he had a buzz cut on his head mostly, and was relatively quiet publicly. But once he started kneeling, he also started sporting cornrows, and eventually, he went fully progressive and started rocking a big afro, and all black outfits a la the Malcolm X type attire. Hell, Kaepernick even started throwing around black power fists. What a goddamn joke. Now, with all that said, we can really see the bigger picture here. Not only is Kaepernick a failed athlete, he's also a fake, wannabe black dude who never faced any racism or hard times ever. So him and Nike going full SJW with their new ad is laughable at best, and pretty scandalous at worst. For more details on their new ad campaign and its backlash, let's turn to an article from the Washington Post called Trump, Nike Getting Absolutely Killed with Boycotts Over Colin Kaepernick's Just Do It campaign. Cool. Sounds like the president is chiming in on this too. This should be good. Let's go ahead and check it out. Some sliced the swooshes right out of their socks. Others lit their shoes aflame in their yards and filmed it. All had strong feelings about Nike's new Just Do It campaign, and one of the athletic shoe and clothing company's newest faces, Colin Kaepernick. Nike revealed on Monday that Kaepernick, the out-of-work NFL quarterback who generated controversy for kneeling during the national anthem to protest racial injustice and police brutality is not a problem by the way, would be featured in the 30th anniversary Just Do It campaign. Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. Read a teaser for an ad that Kaepernick tweeted. And then here's the silly picture attached to that tweet. And this is just wrong for so many reasons. I mean, first of all, what the hell did Colin Kaepernick even sacrifice? Nothing if you ask me. He was benched for not performing well enough, and he later started kneeling to get attention and to virtue signal. After that, he chose to leave the 49ers and become a free agent, his choosing. And that's not even mentioning the millions of dollars the NFL had already paid him, and now he's getting even more millions from Nike. This guy didn't sacrifice everything. He didn't even sacrifice anything. All Colin is doing is milking this situation by race baiting and playing the victim, and Nike is going along with it, propping propping him up even more now, when really Colin should be fading away into obscurity. They shouldn't have hired a washed up quarterback to be their campaign lead anyway. Aren't there plenty of other actually successful athletes out there? And what's up with this black and white super serious advertising anyway? I don't see why Nike wants to get all political. You sell shirts and shoes, dude. Get over yourself. You're not going to change the world here. All Nike is doing is ruining their brand and reputation. The ad stood out as a bold statement on racial justice from Nike, and as the latest demonstration of the company's values, experts said. While companies often steer clear of taking any firm stance on race relations, experts said Nike has claimed the fight for racial equality as a tenet of its mission. Kaepernick tweeted the full ad on Wednesday. The video showcases athletes who have overcome great obstacles to be among the best in their sports. When the camera pans to Kaepernick, he says, "Don't ask if your dreams are crazy, ask if they're crazy enough." And then we see a link to the video from Cap's Twitter. I'm not going to show much of the video here because Nike will probably flag me, but it's pretty much what you would expect. More virtue signaling, wannabe woke nonsense. They've got a number of interesting athletes in there too. One's a kid with no legs, and one's a chick in a wheelchair. And they even have a Muslim woman with a Nike hijab on. Pretty ridiculous. All the while they've got super serious piano music playing in the background, with a wannabe touching voiceover. And I have to say, all this is just way too serious. Nike and these athletes really think they're changing the world, huh? Jesus, guys. You're just putting shoes on people who throw balls for a living. You're dressing runners and skateboarders, sure. And many people do like sports, but let's not pretend you're changing the world either. And I hate to be that guy and say it here, but are sports really that important? I mean, most people just see it as something you watch maybe once a week, at the most, if that. We're talking about football, baseball, hockey, and soccer. And I like sports as much as the next guy. Don't get me wrong, but also, I would never take it this serious either. Nike needs a reality check here, clearly. You're not splitting the atom, guys. You're not performing open heart surgery either. And you're definitely not helping with racism or injustice in any way at all. The Just Do It ad is set to air Thursday night during the NFL season opener, according to ESPN. Some Kaepernick critics took that to mean sacrificing their Nike products. Immediately, people began posting pictures of socks and shoes they had defaced or destroyed, or declaring they would be soon switching allegiances to brands such as Adidas, Brooks, or Converse. Never mind that Nike owns Converse. Country singer John Rich showed off a pair of Nike logos that had been removed from his Soundman socks. Now, I don't think I would go this far, but I also understand the sentiment. If you think about it, Nike and Colin Kaepernick are basically saying we're all racists and bigots toward minorities. I don't think that's true at all, but that's certainly what their woke ad here and their new wannabe black spokesman are implying. And I know I don't like being called racist, and I don't like people who are anti-American like Kaepernick either. So seeing these people defile their Nike products makes some sense. I don't know if I would burn my shoes like this, but it sure does send a strong message. Trump weighed in on the Nike campaign Tuesday, telling the Daily Caller that he thought Nike was sending a terrible message, using Kaepernick in the ads. Still, he acknowledged the company's right to take a stance. As much as I disagree with Colin Kaepernick's endorsement, in another way, it is what this country is all about, that you have certain freedoms to do things that other people think you shouldn't do. But I personally am on a different side of it, Trump told the Daily Caller. On Wednesday, Trump tweeted stronger criticisms of both Nike and the NFL, repeating his claim that the league's ratings had gone way down, and that Nike was getting absolutely killed with anger and boycotts. Well, Trump wasn't just claiming that. This is all true, my dude. The NFL's ratings have been declining ever since Kaepernick started that wave of anti-American kneeling. That's a fact. Why Nike would endorse someone after already receiving this negative reaction from the public is pretty mind-boggling. Usually companies try to avoid controversial figures like this, but I guess Nike really does want to get woke, and then of course, there's the inevitable going broke that follows. They already closed at a 3% loss after this fiasco started on Tuesday, and as I said before, that's billions of dollars lost for the company. It appears they put politics before profits here, and I will admit, I kinda want to admire that kind of conviction, but like how Trump said, we are definitely on a different side of this issue, and I doubt the executives and shareholders at Nike will stand behind this too much longer. They will only take so much of losing money. Losing money isn't ideal, and Nike is a business after all. Now, before we go today, it's also worth noting the large, in-your-face hypocrisy of all this coming from Nike. Nike, of course, has been scolded and embarrassed by stories of its Chinese sweatshop workers who get paid 20 cents an hour to make their overpriced $200 a pair shoes. And this is the same company trying to preach about sacrifice and racial inequality? Give me a goddamn break. Nike has Chinese sweatshops mostly staffed by poor women, and they're trying to say Colin Kaepernick, a multi-millionaire American, is oppressed? That's pretty darn rich, I must say. And I'm willing to bet this actually comes from Nike feeling kind of guilty. They know they are taken advantage of and abusing workers in China privately, so they're trying to pretend to care about social issues in America publicly. But of course, we can all see right through this charade. In the end, we got another high-profile company supporting another low-life, race-baiting, failed athlete. Colin Kaepernick did not sacrifice anything. All he has done is seized on an opportunity. Cap saw the growing racial tensions coming up in our nation around 2016. clean, so he decided to capitalize on it for attention and money. And now 2 years later, Cap is making millions from Nike, all off of his bullshit race hustling. It's sad, wrong, and not helping anyone really. And frankly, I think Nike and Cap, they need to stop. They're just going to lose more and more business over this. It's not going to get better for them anytime soon. What do you guys think? Should Nike have picked Kaepernick for this new ad campaign? Are these social justice commercials getting way too political and serious? I remember back in my day, commercials used to be short, quick, and funny. But hey, I'm just a simple man with simple pleasures. Comment your thoughts on everything below, and thanks for watching No Bullshit. See y'all next time.